There are all kinds of uncertainties that we have to deal with every day, and each day you get through, another day is going to start, and there's going to be a whole new set of uncertainties that are going to come at you. Unexpected things. Oh, for instance, well, anything, any decision you're trying to make, what you should do. Should you do this first? Should you do that first? Should you go this way or should you go that way? And there's always an element of gamble, an element of the unknown, what you can't know, but it's out there waiting for you to encounter it. And there is an element of faith involved. There's an element where you say, okay, I know that I can't know everything that's going to happen or that's going to be in my way or presented to me to deal with. But you also have to be able to relax and say, I'm not going to allow myself to get too anxious about things. I'm going to have a certain amount of faith to trust that things will work themselves out somehow. Usually in your favor. Not always, but that's the gamble and that's the uncertainty factor that you have to deal with. That's how, for instance, myself today. I was planning to go into Boston, be there at 10 o'clock to wait for the guys to show up at 10:30. So, but there was also something else I wanted to do. There was also this bike I wanted to get that was 3 miles away at the train station. And I wanted to stick a lock on it because it's been abandoned. And I thought, well, should I do that or should I just go to the nearest station? Well, as it turned out, I decided to probably try to head towards that station there with the bike. And as it turned out, on the way there, I noticed that buses were running. That if I had gone to the ordinary closer station to me, there wouldn't have been trains running. I would have had to go on one of the buses, the shuttle buses that they are using to replace the trains while they are doing some work on the tracks. And as I rode along, I passed another one of the stations on the way, and you could see the tracks. They had like about 10 track workers there, and so the trains weren't running there. It was shuttle buses instead. And then I got to my destination, and the trains were running there. So it seemed that it was between the last four train stations on the line. They were doing track work and running shuttle buses. And what I planned to do anyhow, not knowing that was going to happen, I was planning to ride to the 5th station. I could have ridden to the 4th station. It would have gotten, I think the trains would have been running from there. But that wouldn't have been any closer for me. Anyhow, so just weird as it turned out, there I was. Should I go to the bike station or should I go to the regular station? And it probably would not have saved me any time to have gone to the regular station because I would have had to take the shuttle bus. On the other hand, I'm not sure how much slower. So there's uncertainties all around. And then I show up. Okay, so then I'm on the train, and it's like 9:40, and my phone rings, and it's the guy that said he was going to be there at 10:30. He's asking if I get there at quarter to 10 instead. Well, I couldn't because I was on the train, but I got there just about 10 o'clock. And that was early enough. And it was as early as I had intended to get there in the first place anyhow. And then the question was, he said they were planning to move the pianos on Thursday, tomorrow. But he said no, it was too soon. They had to get permits, and plus just didn't have availability. The soonest availability would be Monday. But what I didn't know is that the original closing date was supposed to be... I did know that the original closing date was supposed to be Friday, 2 days from now, but I didn't know whether that was going to be postponed for another week or two, because I had heard that it was likely that it would, and it seemed likely that it probably would end up, but I didn't know first. It hadn't been confirmed. I didn't know this. And I had to take a gamble when the guy said Monday. I had to take a gamble and say, okay, that should work out, even though I wasn't certain. It might not have been Friday, but the closing was be done at my deadline. But what was I going to do? So there it is. Now I have a headache. I woke up with a headache. I had 3 aspirins before I left. And questions about uncertainty. Questions about how people make decisions and stupidity of our society. Is the same questions over and over and over every day of your life. It's the same fucking questions. How do people go through their lives not wanting to think rationally about things, and yet what a contrast it is so many people are so competent producing so many things and doing so many things, and yet as a whole we as a society are so incompetent at simple basic reasoning skills and logic. And then yesterday, headache, and so then he calls me back. Then he calls me back a couple hours later, gives me a quote. Well, I'm sure it's more than I was hoping to have to spend, but how little was I expecting to spend? And all the little notions going through my head yesterday about whether I had overpaid for the punching bag. That's all gone out the window, because what I paid for the punching bag is nothing compared to what I'm going to have to pay for the moving next week. So forget all that stuff about the punching bag. Certainly it's a better punching bag. It's better than average quality punching bag. It's heavier, it's bigger, it's got the metal mounting thing. I have a headache. Fucking headache. And then lastly, probably lastly, as far as this moment is for today, because every day that passes, new decisions come your way, new confusions come your way, new unexpected things and uncertainties come your way, new judgments to balance whether you should do this or do that come your way every fucking day. But at the moment, the question is, they did give me a ride back to my house, but that means my bicycle is now 3 miles away at the station. I could walk there in an hour walk should do it. And should I? Because, what is it, 3:30, and in about 3 hours or 3.5 hours, the Kooky Maluki group is going to be meeting. Do I even want to go back to their meeting? Why would I want to go back to their meeting? But if I did,